if we take a realistic approach to all these issues, how do you
Yeah,
foresee the future of these negotiations first? And if both sides reach an agreement, will it be a
mhm.
short-term deal or will it lead to a permanent contract or something? In that
It has
case,
to be.
in that case, how will Iran's role as a regional power change?
It has to be a permanent solution. It can't just go on like this, especially at a time when uh, Iranians themselves don't know which governance system they're going to have after the supreme leader is no longer with you. So there has to be a comprehensive solution to this. Russia, the Iranian leader sent a letter to President Putin that was delivered by Dr. Araghchi, the Iranian foreign minister. We don't know what was really communicated between the leaders. Uh, After the first JCPOA, Iran sent around 10,000 kilograms, almost 98% of its enriched uranium to Russia. Well, we don't know what happened to that uranium, to that enriched uranium. My sentiment is that the Russians will probably use that as a negotiation point with the Americans. Like, if you don't negotiate with us over Ukraine, you may give some of this old enriched uranium of Iran back to Iran. That's weapon could be weapon grade, right? So now Iran, in the past 2 years, has enriched a lot of uranium again. Are the Iranians going to make the same mistake again and send that to Russia? I mean, do the Iranians really want to follow the Muammar Gaddafi model? Do the Iranian liberals, are they not aware what happened to that country? That country is ran by Islamist jihadist gangs. That was a first-rate Arab country. Free education, free healthcare, free university, free everything. Now it's run by ISIS and Al Qaeda, and it's basically like torn into pieces. While the Europeans, especially the French and the Italians, are getting cheap Libyan oil. Getting the Libyan oil for free, which is a very high quality oil, by the way. It's called the sweet oil because you don't need to really extract that deep to get it out. The cost of production is very low. Do the Iranian liberals really want that? Because I monitor the Iranian liberal the Iranian media when the liberals talk. I follow what Mr. Mehdi Nasiri was saying, that giving up is good sometimes. What? Who are you? Do you know anything about history, or are you just basically the fifth column in Iran? When it comes to the destabilization of Iran, I am more concerned about these people than all these antiquated monarchists and MKO and the rest of these people who want to destabilize Iran. The thesis is wrong. Mr. Zarif's thesis is wrong. At some point, Mr. Zarif, I invite you to come to the United States so my secretary can drive you to University of Denver so you can give back your PhD because it's worthless. You were on Iranian newspaper apologizing for JCPOA, and then you become a strategic vice president for President Pezeshkian. Get out, please. Please leave. Retire, and please don't teach. We don't want the kind of students that you're going to teach based on how you messed up the whole equation with your JCPOA and your miscalculation, and the way you managed to convince the Iranian leader to just go along with it. The Iranian leader really has his hands tied behind his back, I believe. It's existential. The Iranian people don't want war. They remember the 8 years of Iran-Iraq war. They don't want a war. They're watching the TV screens right now. What's happening in Bandar Abbas? They're scared. I shouldn't say scared. The Iranians are brave, but they're very concerned. They're very alarmed. So, former President, what's his name, Hassan Rouhani, please just get out. Stop being part of any consultancy body. The tradition in Iran is that all former presidents and former speaker of the parliament and this and that, they all become advisors to the Iranian leader. Very smart. Keep him in the tent, right? This is the policy of the Iranian leadership. Have him in the tent instead of having him be outside of the tent and be a problem. You can keep your enemies closer than your friends, right? But that thesis didn't really go anywhere, and so the Iranians have really their back against the rock. They're, as we say in English, in between the rock and the hard place. The economy is collapsed. It's unbelievable what's happening in Iran. Youth are leaving. Half of my family has left in the past 2-3 years. They're all living in Europe where they're most likely not welcome. There's a massive brain drainage. There's got to be massive economic reforms have to take place in Iran, and they were taking place under President Raisi, and he was
Mm.
killed. That's another story. Why he was killed, whom he was killed with. Very, very, very suspicious stuff going on. I'm not gonna. I don't believe in mudslinging. You know, I'm an academic. I'm a journalist. I'm not a politician. But at some point, the Iranian liberals have to really apologize instead of shamelessly going on Iranian TV and openly saying, like what Mr. Nassiri was saying, that sometimes it's good to give up. It's good to throw your hands up in the air. I really hope President Trump put people like General Douglas McGregor, uh, people like him in charge. Why hasn't it happened? It just happens to be that the Israelis get to determine who our Secretary of Defense get to be. And if you go back, there's a precedent of our Secretary of Defense happened to be of Jewish ethnicity.